giant Mega Millions lottery jackpot balloons to more than $1 billion after not a single person matches all 6 numbers overnight.
We are watching heat advisories for a little bit of us. That'll continue through 8 o'clock, but big changes on the way. The latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And Russia says it soon plans to put space between its astronauts and the ISS project.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Mega Millions turns into a Mega Billions jackpot. No winner overnight means an even bigger prize for this coming Friday's lucky winner. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, both bad news and good news. The bad news first, you didn't win the massive Mega Millions drawing last night, but the good news, no one else did either. So you have another shot, and the prize is even bigger, much bigger. CBS's Dan Lieberman explains why the next Mega Millions drawing should maybe get a name change to Billion.
The Mega Millions jackpot is still up for grabs. That means Friday's top prize currently stands at $1.02 billion. If there's a winner and they take the cash option, that's $602 million before taxes. With inflation on nearly everyone's mind these days, the frenzy over that jackpot has been growing this week.
Even $1,000 would help.
It's true.
With gas prices, just saying.
Tuesday's prize would have been the nation's 4th largest lottery prize of all time. Some driving across state lines from Alabama to Tennessee for their chance.
When it gets big, I come up here. You got to do what you got to do. You can't win if you don't play.
29, that's followed by 63.
But as the numbers rolled in, a Mega Millions spokesperson said its website was seeing, quote, unprecedented traffic, with many getting error messages. The site saw around 62 million requests within a 24-hour period. So is there any way to up those 1 in 302 million chances of winning on Friday?
The best tip I can give folks is play together in groups. So you think about the office pool, pull your tickets together. Each ticket you buy gives you an extra chance to win.
Mega Millions has now gone 29 consecutive draws without a jackpot winner. Dan Lieberman, CBS News, New York.
The biggest ever lottery payday was a $1.58 billion Powerball jackpot, and that was in 2016. We're finally seeing some luck heading our way with cooler temperatures in the forecast. Chris Warner joins us with the first look.
Yeah, I wanted to show you the almanac, and of course the top numbers will fill out later tonight once we get the officials. But as you can see, 91 is our normal high, 70 our normal low. We have not been near that for some time, but that's about to change. Not today, though. Heat advisories for the counties in orange until 8 o'clock. Excessive heat warnings for those magenta-colored counties until roughly the same time. So let's talk about the change, because there's big changes on the way. This is the future track. As we go through the rest of today, we'll see increasing scattered thunderstorm chances. You can see some out here in southeast Kansas, some in southwest Missouri, hence the scattered. They're going to be very scattered, and they don't really do a lot for temperatures. Now, as we go into the overnight, it's going to be still a few scattered storms, but it's going to otherwise end up clearing out, at least briefly, until we get into tomorrow morning. We'll talk about tomorrow a little bit later. As we progress through the rest of today, we'll eventually start to cool off as the evening goes on. 94 by 6, 89 by 8. 83 at 10 o'clock and 81 by midnight. And again, a few scattered storms may still be lingering as we progress through the night. Otherwise, most of us are going to be fairly dry, but that's about to change. Take a look at the overnight lows, though. As you can see, we had that boundary we talked about. It's finally shifting closer to I-44, which means most of us are going to have lower 70s and even upper 60s for overnight lows. We're going to take a look at the complete forecast and our rain chances and the cool down here in just a little bit.
Well, the feds are expected to once again raise interest rates, topping Nation Watch for the 4th time since March. The Federal Reserve is expected to hike interest rates later today. The potential 0.75 of a point increase would push the Fed's benchmark rate to its highest point in 4 years. The move is designed to slow down inflation and rising prices, which are at a 40-year high. But the anticipated rate hike comes during fears that the economy has slipped into a recession. The continuing tensions between Russia and the U.S. are raising questions about the future of the International Space Station. Moscow now says it intends to withdraw from the project after 2024. Mark Strassman is outside the Johnson Space Center in Houston.
Already orbiting on borrowed time, the ISS could have its longevity shortened further by this announcement from Moscow. Yuri Borisov, Russia's new space director, tells President Vladimir Putin, quote, "The decision to leave the station after 2024 has been made, so Russia can begin building its own space station." Putin's response? Good.
Do you want the relationship to end?
No, absolutely not.
Robin Gatens, NASA's ISS director, taken by surprise at a conference.
We haven't received any official word from the partner as to the news today, and so we'll be talking more about their plan going forward.
Also caught off guard, the U.S. State Department.
It's an unfortunate development given the critical scientific work performed at the ISS.
Up in space, the ISS crew currently includes an Italian, 3 Russians, 3 Americans. The rotating commander, a Russian cosmonaut, Oleg Artemiev. NASA astronaut Kjell Lindgren's reaction?
We haven't heard anything officially. Of course, we were trained to do a mission up here, and that mission is one that requires the whole crew.
On the ISS, the Russian segment provides all propulsion, controlling the station's altitude. The U.S. controls orientation and provides satellite communication and solar power. Cosmonauts and astronauts work together but operate their respective segments, even during difficult moments like the war in Ukraine and this announcement from Moscow. Here's what Lindgren told us back in March.
The only way that we can succeed is if we all as a crew work together.
How do you keep that level of professionalism when there are issues happening 250 miles below?
Our lives depend on them, their lives depend on us.
Among the unanswered questions, what's the exact timeline of the Russian pullout? Is Moscow serious about it? And could the U.S. and its partners somehow keep the ISS operating without its critical Russian partners? I asked NASA Administrator Bill Nelson about this possibility back in March.
What is the contingency plan?
Well, we know that we can continue it for the short term, and we'd have to do other things, and those contingency plans are already there.
But the specifics of those contingency plans are unclear. And no question, keeping the ISS in orbit without Russian help is much more challenging. Mark Strassman, CBS News, in Houston.
Well, NASA and other international partners want to keep the station in orbit until 2030, but without the Russians, that may not be possible. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, a rare set of bones on sale.
This 76-million-year-old dinosaur skeleton is up for auction. I'm Michael George with the millions a new owner will need to take home a piece of prehistory.
And later, our tour of State Fair foods continues with a salute to strawberry Italian ice. An extremely rare dinosaur skeleton is up for public auction for the first time ever, where it's expected to sell for millions. Michael George got up close and personal with a Gorgosaurus.
He's a prehistoric marvel, 77 million years old, and he's for sale. This Gorgosaurus skeleton is up for auction July 28 at the world-famous Sotheby's.
Always wanted to sell a dinosaur, and here we are, finally doing that.
Cassandra Hatton is Sotheby's global head of science and popular culture and says a specimen like this is a rare find.
It is rare to find a Gorgosaurus, period. There are maybe 20 known Gorgosaurus specimens in the world versus more than 50 T-Rex skeletons.
The bones were discovered in Montana in 2018. These dinosaurs were known to live in the western U.S. and Canada. It's a relative of the T-Rex, smaller, but still a giant by any definition. The Gorgosaurus is 10 feet tall and 22 feet long. Not exactly the kind of thing that fits in the average living room, but it might if you're the kind of person that has $5 to $8 million to spare. Because the owner chose to sell the massive fossil rather than donate it to a museum, it's the first time a Gorgosaurus is available for private ownership. Hatton says there's been a lot of interest.
In recent years, we have seen dinosaurs coming to auction and well exceeding their estimates, so that could be the case here given the rarity of Gorgosaurus. Who knows?
A group of experts worked to carefully transport and reassemble the Gorgosaurus so it's ready for auction, the latest chapter in its 77 million year journey. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
If $5 to $8 million is a little out of your price range, Sotheby's also has a raptor claw up for auction for a much more reasonable $14,000. Oh, that's kind of high. Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Today, as our fair food frenzy continues, we have a cool and refreshing treat that you're not going to want to miss.
But first, Chris Warner returns with your complete forecast.
Yeah, hot weather has been the trend for, well, take a look at the calendar recap. All of July. We've only had 2 days below normal. Every other day in July has been above normal. So that's 24 days above, only 2 below, and no normal days. But that is going to change. So here's why it's going to change. We got a system coming in. It's a frontal boundary. It's stalling out. It's moving very slowly south, but mostly it's barely moving. Let's just say that. It's going to be warm again today, but the rain chances are going to increase. And we got better storm chances that start tomorrow and into tomorrow night. Unfortunately, once we get this brief break, summer will return by the start of next week to get us kicked off. So let's talk about the rest of this evening so you can plan for dinner, whatever it is you're going to do. There may be some scattered showers and storms. Otherwise, still going to be hot. Getting down to 81 by midnight, but here's the deal. That boundary, we mentioned it yesterday. It was closer to Highway 54 yesterday morning. Now it's a lot closer to I-44, and so all of us are going to be in for a pretty decent night with lows topping out or dropping down to the lower 70s, upper 60s for a good chunk of the area. Skywatch Storm Tracker earlier today showed us that boundary, and just like yesterday, heavy rain and thunderstorms off to our north. Now, we do have heat advisories for the counties in orange until about 8 o'clock tonight, and if you're in the magenta, you are under an excessive heat warning, but this should hopefully be the last time for a few days. Now, over the next 24 hours, like I said, scattered thunderstorm chances, so as we head into the overnight, temperatures will slowly drop off. Some scattered storm chances will progressively increase, and we've got some decent storm chances coming tomorrow morning. So let's talk about tomorrow morning. This is the future track. Through the rest of today, again, some scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder or two. And then as we head into tomorrow morning, take a look out to the west. This all starts to build in and overspreads the area. And as we progress through Thursday morning, temperatures are going to be a bit nicer, and we've got more widespread showers and thunderstorms. Now, we'll keep scattered storm chances through the day before we clear out a bit, but it's not going to heat up as much. We're talking about highs near 90. And then as we head into the next several days, as you can see, scattered shower and thunderstorm chances continue, and they will continue all the way through the weekend. So a quick check of the rain tracker. These amounts have actually been upped a bit, so that does raise some concern for flash flooding. This is as we progress all the way through Friday. Check out what it's thinking now. Maybe an inch for Miami, an inch and a half in Joplin. Because the ground is so dry, flash flooding is a serious concern that we've got to keep an eye on, because even if you don't get a ton of rain in total, if you get stuck under a thunderstorm that dumps a bucket of rain on you, ground's not going to absorb it fast enough, and you're going to be dealing with some potential flash flooding, especially in urban areas. 7-day forecast, one more alert day. One more day, triple digits. 90 tomorrow, storms build in, cools us off nicely into the 60s. 83 Friday and Saturday, 88 on Sunday. Those storm chances, we just ride the wave all the way to Sunday. Overnight lows in the 60s, and then Monday, Tuesday, summer returns with temperatures pushing the mid-90s. But we are getting this break, and it's a break we absolutely need.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Sergeant William McCarty in the U.S. Army. Soldier from Chanute, Kansas, joined the 161st Field Artillery in 1943. He fought in both France and Germany during World War II and later on the Aleutian Islands in the early 90s. McCarty earned an Expert Marksman Medal, among others. To Sergeant William McCarty, we thank you, our four-state hero. Well, there is no better way to quench your thirst at the state fair than with a strawberry Italian ice. I wonder how they make them. Howard takes the Mr. Food Test Kitchen on tour to find out.
We're halfway through our week-long salute to all the food and fun we find at carnivals and fairs across the country. Yesterday, we dove headfirst into cream puffs that were humongous. And since we needed to work off some of those calories, we decided to walk the midway and try our luck at the games. When it came to popping balloons, Patty was the winner. But the score evened out when it was time to see who was the fastest. And after working up a thirst, we stopped and got the best strawberry Italian ice I've ever had. It was so good, we asked the guy working the stand if he would tell us how to make it. He said the secret is to blend fresh strawberries with sugar, honey, lemon juice, and lots of ice. After it gets slushy, he said to add more ice and blend it again. Then pour it into a pan and freeze it for about an hour. When it firms up, he showed us how to scrape it until it became almost like snow. Let me tell you, this is perfect when the heat of summer takes a toll on you. And whether you eat it with a spoon like ice cream or squish it out of a cup like a snow cone, you can't miss. So why not go online and get the recipe for our strawberry Italian ice, along with all of our fair favorites. I'm Howard, taking a quick break before I head out to find even more ways for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Well, you can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
One more day of triple-digit temperatures for us, and then we start to cool down with increasing rain chances over the next several days. Temperatures into the lower 80s for afternoon highs. Once this clears out, though, over the weekend, we return to summer with temperatures pushing back up into the mid to upper 90s as we start the next week.
What do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, at 5, a woman is recovering from surgery. She's been getting warnings about her heart rhythm on her Apple Watch at night, and she now credits that same watch for saving her life. Her story is in Health Watch. Plus, authorities arrest a Parsons man for mistreatment of elders, theft, drugs, and weapons charges. And students who have an interest in the medical field take part in a week-long hands-on experience with Freeman Hospital. Hope you join us for those stories. A whole lot more, of course, today at 5.
All right, thank you, Dow. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at Noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.